as an Iranian, this is something that I grew up with, and this is something that I know since the time I was born. Yeah. It is quite sad to see that it took 47 years and a war for people to actually pay attention to Iran. Thousands and thousands of peaceful protesters were shot on the roads. Yeah. And even when they were not dead yet, they were taken to hospitals, and the Basij would come into the hospitals and shoot them dead there. We've had executions always in Iran. Publicly, we have seen them. You're on the road, on the way to work, and you see a crane and there's somebody being hanged.
You know, you've dealt with morality police.
For me personally, when I was taken by the morality police, I think I was at a stage where I was mentally already so strong, and I've gone through so much in life already, where I was like, okay, I know how to handle this situation. We know what happened with Mahsa Amini. She was killed. And it's not only Mahsa Amini. We have so many other names. Every time you get out of the house, you just don't know if you're going to be abducted or not.
A bunch of people in Iran who were celebrating after the political leader Khamenei's death. And then I saw a video of people in India protesting against it.
Hitler had his supporters as well, right?
Exactly.
So you're never going to be able to have the whole world condemn somebody. This Iranian regime has been doing a fantastic job at deceiving people. Iran has nobody supporting them. All the Muslim countries around have said, bro, why are you attacking us? Yeah. With the regime change in Iran, everything is going to change. And a lot of people don't believe that, but I'm excited for that day to come and then to say, I told you so.
She's a global artist who's worked across industries, but today's conversation is deeply personal to her. Welcoming Elnaaz Norouzi, who joins us on FPJ Show Biz for a very important conversation that's, of course, so close to her heart. Hi, Elnaaz, thank you so much, firstly, for doing this. Not a lot of people, especially public figures, have the true, honest courage to come out and speak how you do today. You have stood like a rock with the people that you have, of course, you've grown up with, and you have that deep connection with them. Today, how do you feel looking at the world scenario and the things that are happening in Iran?
See, for me as an Iranian, this is something that I grew up with, and this is something that I know since the time I was born. Yeah. So it is a very day-to-day kind of a situation in life. It's just now that after 47 years, there has been some type of attention around Iran that, okay, we can say we had that around 2022 when Mahsa Amini happened with the morality police. People listened, knew something is happening, but then it went away. It is quite sad to see that it took 47 years and a war for people to actually pay attention to Iran, whereas Iran has been one of the countries that people speak the most about, because I know that Iranians abroad in the diaspora, like me, who have left Iran, have always been trying to shed some light and bring attention to the situation in Iran. But we've always been hit with blind eyes and deaf ears, you know, which makes it even more sad now, because not only was it all of those years, it was just literally 2 months back when thousands and thousands of peaceful protesters were shot on the roads. Yeah. And even when they were not dead yet, they were taken to hospitals, and the Basij would come into the hospitals and shoot them dead there. Thousands and thousands of children died. In February alone, we had more than 200 executions. But that's nothing new. We've had executions always in Iran. Publicly, we have seen them. You're on the road, on the way to work, and you see a crane and there's somebody being hanged. So these are things that you guys listen to and you're like, oh, you know, and but for us, these are everyday occurrences, you know. So it's kind of heartbreaking to see people who did not speak about the 50,000 dead just 2 months back, when we were screaming and making reels and videos and posts about it and saying, hey, please say something.
Yeah.
This needs to be addressed. Somebody needs to help us. Nobody really said anything. And the same people now are asking for no war. It's like everybody is against the Iranians' freedom. You know, it's heartbreaking.
Absolutely. When you say that what's shocking for us is actually normal for Iranians, that's actually heartbreaking to even hear. But you've grown up there, you've been born there. Do you remember those years, what it was like? Because even you have had first-hand experience about all of these things.
Yeah, I remember those years. I remember everything, what it was like. And I remember that since my childhood, my parents had thoughts and plans of leaving the country because it was such a mess to live in, and they just did not want that for me. They wanted a better future for me. And I'm super grateful to them, but my heart breaks for the rest of the Iranians who couldn't make it out, you know, and who have been living there. Not only my cousins, but my cousins are so close to me. Like, I can see it. I can see how my life is and how their life is. And it is heartbreaking to see that, because they just did not have the same opportunities. And it's even more heartbreaking when you understand and know that Iran is one of the biggest powers that it could be, with all the oil and the resources that it has. And yet the people are one of the most backwards people, you know.
You know, you've dealt with morality police. As a young girl, when it happened with you, what were the kind of thoughts that went through?
See, for me personally, when I was taken by the morality police, I think I was at a stage where I was mentally already so strong, and I've gone through so much in life already, where I was like, okay, I know how to handle this situation, and I'm going to come out of this fine. And that was also because I knew I'm a German citizen, I'm going to be fine, I'm going to get out of this. But all of these other girls who live there and who have to, I was going to leave the next day. I was going to go to Germany the next day. I knew it's not going to happen again, and I knew I'm going to be safe. But the girls, the women who live in Iran and who are being probably picked up multiple times, because I know when they took me, they made sure that they take pictures of me from my profiles with my name, like how they do in jail. And they keep a track of you. They keep a track of how often you get in. And they're not tolerant. We know what happened with Mahsa Amini. She was killed. And it's not only Mahsa Amini. We have so many other names. We have so many other women who have been suffering. We have millions and millions of women who are living under this oppression all their lives. And to imagine how it feels for them, that every time you get out of the house, you just don't know if you're going to be abducted or not.
Now, of course, today you are in India, where we do give so much importance to freedom of speech. And a lot of times we take these things for granted. Maybe when you say these things, it makes me feel like, wow, to be able to go wherever I want to without having this fear in my head that I'll be abducted is actually such a big privilege that I'm living in. And I don't think I realized it before we spoke about all this.
Yeah.
Does that also make you feel way more grateful today for where you are?
Of course. This is not just making me feel grateful today. This has been making me feel grateful for since the time we left Iran, when we were in Germany and we saw what it means when you can live a life that you choose how to live, where you choose who to support, who to talk against, how to dress, where I love football. Just how Indians love cricket, we Iranians love football. But women are not allowed in stadiums in Iran. So I finally had the chance to go and watch a football match in Germany. You know, it sounds so ridiculous and it sounds like such a small win. But when you have these opportunities you don't really appreciate them as
Yeah.
much as when you actually don't have them, and then you realize, oh shit, we actually have it really good.
That's
you
true.
know, and especially freedom of speech. Some of the most political prisoners that are in Iran in prison since years and years are the ones who have spoken against the regime. And the regime just doesn't tolerate that.
Yeah.
You know, where I see people constantly protesting in America saying, we don't have this, we don't have that. The fact that you're allowed to go on the roads and protest and say that you don't like the president that you have right now without being killed is a privilege. It shouldn't be called a privilege.
Yes.
But if you look at it from the lens that I look at it as an Iranian woman, then it is. Being able to say what you want to say without having people come to your house and take you is a privilege.
Does it ever get that fear in your heart or scare you when you speak about these things so strongly, especially when you come from Iran and you do have family today staying there? How does that make you feel?
You know, I see a lot of people being worried for me, and especially my parents or friends around. But honestly, I don't have that fear. I just feel like maybe that's what I was supposed to do in this life, you know, shed some light onto all the wrongdoings that are happening in that country where I was born. I could have been born somewhere else. I could have been somebody else. Maybe God wanted me to be born there and then live in India and become a public figure here where I could use my voice to educate the people about that country. Maybe that's what I was supposed to do. And it would be so stupid to not use your voice to help humans, I feel.
You know, of course, the internet is divided in two. Half of us don't even really know what's happening. As you said, that we don't have clarity. We're just reading something on a WhatsApp forward or on Instagram and just basing everything on that. When you see these strong opinions coming from people who maybe have false narratives set, how does that make you feel? Because you actually know what it's like to be in Iran.
Again, it feels very. It feels like people are trying to reduce our pain, and people are trying to deny what has happened to us and what is happening to Iranians. So that hurts, but also because I know that they're uninformed and because I know that they don't have the full information, I'm always open and happy to explain and, you know, tell them what it actually is so that they can change their minds. You will find a lot of people who will just believe what they want to believe. That's something else. But in the past few months also, and years, another friend of mine last night sent me a message saying, Elnaaz, I see everything that's going on. And I remember our conversations back then, 10 years back, when you were telling me about Iran. And, you know, so that also reminded me again of how I've always been talking about this.
You have actually.
Yeah, how I've always just tried to bring attention to this matter. But some people want to believe what they want to believe, and some people are so amazing. They feel with you and they change their minds because they're open to get educated about it. So each and every person that you are able to educate about what's happening is important, because I feel like, especially in this world where social media is so prominent, where AI is become so big, people are bound to be misinformed, you know. So hence it makes it even more important for me to speak up.
Absolutely. You know, it was really scary. I saw this video, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there were a bunch of people in Iran who were celebrating after the political leader Khamenei's death. And then I saw a video of people in India protesting against it, and they called him their god. And there were so many videos coming in and getting circulated even in media. How do you describe this as? Because they have not lived there. They have not lived that life in Iran. So to stand here in India in all the safety and say that, no, we'll take the revenge.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It's, again, I did not expect that. And I was at a loss of words when I saw that. And I realized that how much this regime, not only has this regime brainwashed a lot of Iranians inside of Iran, which is, if you see, about 11 to 18% of Iranians are supporting the regime, which is really a low number. If you look at it, it's below 20.
Yeah.
But they have all been brainwashed. But below 20% yet, because Iran has more than 90 million people, it's still a big number. You know,
Absolutely.
there's still millions and millions who support them. So I was like, okay, those people are brainwashed, it's fine. But seeing how 47 years, almost 5 decades, has allowed this regime to fellow their ideology all over the world and have so many supporters who turn a blind eye to his atrocities was very shocking for me. I did not expect that. I did not see it coming.
Yeah.
But again, you have so many people from so many different religions and from so many different parts of the world. You can't always see, if you look at it like that, Hitler had his supporters as well, right?
Exactly.
So you're never going to be able to have the whole world condemn somebody, especially when they have not known what it feels like. I feel like I have never commented on a country that I have not been to or lived in. I have never. Because it is very different. It's the same thing as when you see a couple, your friends, you're like, oh, they have such a great marriage. They're such great people. I love how they treat each other. But you have no idea what's going on at home.
True.
And this is the same case. You have no idea what's going on in Iran.
Yeah.
You have no idea how these leaders who take religion as a shield to make it look like they're good people, how they're actually treating their own people, you know? And the regime, this Iranian regime has been doing a fantastic job at deceiving people.
Yes.
They've been doing a great job. They have always stayed in the back, never really attacked anybody so that nobody can say, oh, they attacked. But their proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, and Houthis, the ones that they are funding, have been doing all the dirty work for them, have been creating all the unrest in the Middle East, you know? And another fact is that the fact that people have been so blind to this, that from the day that the Islamic Republic of Iran was built, they have been chanting death to America and death to Israel. Imagine you do this for 47 years. Yeah. At some point, America and Israel are going to come for you, especially when you're building nuclear bombs, you know? And again, if anybody would have done that with your country, if anybody would have said death to India for 47 years, and then they would have gone to start building nuclear bombs to nuke India, you would have been stupid to not retaliate. Right?
Absolutely.
So we Iranians are against that. We Iranians have had, before this regime, we've had the best relations with America, with Israel, with Europe, with everywhere. We've never had it, just like India.
Yeah.
India has such great relations with all of the countries around. That's what Iran was. Right now, if you look at Iran, Iran has nobody supporting them. All the Muslim countries around have said, bro, why are you attacking us?
Yeah.
You know, nobody is ready to stand with them. Even China,
who
was the best friends of this regime, is like, we're out of it. You know, these are not good relations.
Yeah.
This shows that you're political agenda and your politics, your foreign politics have just been terrible because you have no friends, you know? So yeah, you must have done something wrong then, right? You know, I just feel like people need to really open their eyes and see it's not only the Iranian people who are saying this regime is terrible. Just listen to all the other leaders as well who are in the Middle East. They're inside of the Middle East and they're saying we don't want to have anything to do with them. And those are countries that are doing really well.
Yeah.
Like the UAE, you know.
That's true.
So,
you know, lastly, of course, before we wrap this conversation, what hope do you have in your heart for Iran? And would you want to, of course, once the situation settles down, want to go back?
What I hope for Iran is that it is free soon, that our people get to feel what freedom means again, you know, because they've been so desperate for it for years. I know that a lot of people from the diaspora, just like my mom and dad, would immediately go back and live in Iran. Millions and millions of Iranians abroad would immediately go back and live in Iran. And I would just be so excited for the people inside of Iran, for all of the young people who have had no youth, who have had no work, who are extremely educated and amazing human beings without a hope for a good future. And besides that, I am so excited for what this world is going to be, because a lot of people don't know how much power this regime had over the world. How when this regime is gone, when the funding is gone for Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, how Yemen, Syria, Gaza is going to become free again and everyone's going to flourish. The world is going to flourish. How, you know, everything is going to change.
That's true.
With the regime change in Iran, everything is going to change. And a lot of people don't believe that, but I'm excited for that day to come and then to say, I told you so.
Wow. I hope that happens soon for the world to be a better place, I feel. But, you know, Elnaaz, thank you so much for sharing this with us, because there are so many people in need for that little hope. And I think when you speak and you come from there, so people have that little hope in their heart. So thank you for being a powerful voice today.
Thank you.
Thank you.